Well, hello, YouTube and friends and acquaintances. This is, I haven't reimagined it yet, so I don't know for sure, but I'm almost there in that this will be the last or next to last installment on reimagining things. You know, we always put helpful videos out for the younger people in the generation, younger generations that have come behind me. It's just very valuable to reach young people with the wisdom of years. So that's very important to us. We're going to talk about some personal areas where we have reimagined around here and it has worked beautifully, and some other areas that we're having trouble in. So I will start in the areas of success. You all know we are the boxing life. I believe when they started that company and took a name for their boxing products and gloves and such, they really took a good name, Boxing Life, because you basically have to give everything to boxing. However, we don't really give anything to boxing. Most of you're under the misguided impression by not imagining what we're doing correctly. We're doing nothing. At times we fail and we're doing next to nothing, but we've almost got the boxing thing licked. When we first started, Joe was 12, going on 13. We were very misguided. He wasn't. He was a child, so I was terribly misguided. He was okay. He was actually reimagining as we went along, but the problem that we had was I kept telling him crazy things like, you have to work very hard at this. This is the only sport that's not a game, and such. And he worked really hard, but we found out a couple of months into it that, what are we doing? That work thing, that's crazy. So he started reimagining. I read a book put out by a lady. Her name was Leona Helmsley. So you can go look the book up by Leona Helmsley called Reimagine Your Life. And I read the book, and then I was able and better equipped as a father to help Joe better. So Joe just started reimagining, knocking people out, and just winning against anything he went up against. And it's worked perfectly for us. It's worked beautifully for him. One day we had a guy in the gym and something happened. Maybe the guy said something Joe didn't like, and they got to tussling, and Joe reimagined knocking his bottom tooth out, and sure enough, that tooth come out of that boy's mouth and landed on the floor. So this stuff does work. We're a good testimony to it and for it. So, but we've had other areas where we haven't been so successful. when I first found out about reimagining, it was I was it was due to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is the only hope for us. We have no future without Joe Biden, by the way. So it's very important that we all support Joe Biden. Every chance I get, I'm always shouting in the middle of the crowds, "Let's go, Brandon." So, let's go, Brandon. Joe Biden has gotten himself, well, let's get back to my failures first, and then we'll talk about the greatness of Joe Biden. Why would you talk about politics in this? Because it's everything to it. It's what brought this new concept forward. It's why Joe wins every single time. It's why any success we get comes this way. But when reimagining first came out, there was a lot of police talk about folks reimagining policing and things like that. So I failed at that. I have failed miserably at the reimagining the policing part. I cannot impose my will. If it's one officer, I can do just fine. If it's 2, 3, 6, one time it was 9 on me, I was not able to reimagine that. I believe they were imagining something else, and my willpower just wasn't there to reimagine, and some bad things happened. I won't go into it, but terrible things. But that is part of your journey on reimagining everything for your benefit. It's a lot of hard work. Not physical work, Lord knows. Doing anything physical or learning in school, none of that means nothing. You have to work at things like, and it's the only things you can work at is race baiting, and culture, and the LMNOP community. It has to be your whole thought process. You can't really be thinking about other things. So, and wonderfully, our young generation coming up today, they're not thinking about other things. So they're going to reimagine this world. And if you get left behind, you don't want to get left behind, trust me. Because the world they are reimagining for you, you're just not going to be able to get out of. So, well, there's one person that can get out of anything, and that's Joe Biden. We'll get to that in a minute. So we have had some hardships along the way, but there are only hardships in the beginning on your journey of reimagining. Well, one subcategory I could add to the race baiting, LMNOP community, could be and should be political issues. They are involved there too. So we get to talk about politics sometimes in reimagining as well. So communism in all its glory, and it is the only system that has ever worked. It's always worked beautifully anywhere it's been applied. It's the only economic and social system that has decency to it. When the Jewish Bolshevists came about and started communism in Soviet Russia, they understood, and rightfully so, that they would have to control the population. And why am I'm relating this? Because there's work involved in reimagining everything. They started their process of reimagining their glorious Soviet Union. This, by the way, has been the only real successful government. The Chinese are a close second. North Koreans are almost there. By the end of the year, I'm sure I'll be adding North Korea to the Soviet Union list of totally perfected countries. The Bolsheviks, the Jewish Bolsheviks, they understood early in their reimagining that there were others that weren't reimagining. So through control, through the starvation, through work camps and whatnot, they killed upwards of 70 million people. But that really didn't happen. So you have to reimagine that none of that happened, and as soon as you reimagine it, it never happened. The country with the biggest problems in that have been the Germans. I'll give you a classic example here. It's always said that the Germans killed 6 million Jewish people, and that's all you hear about. That's Germans killing Jewish people. And the Soviets were the kings at reimagination because Stalin killed 12 million Jewish people quicker than Hitler killed the 6 million figure that they put out. So, and no one talks about that. See the beauty in that? See how reimagining things works? It works perfectly. It's nothing else that we've ever been able to psychologically find that works. It's just that, reimagining. So they did a perfect job at that. You never hear a Jewish person complaining about communism or the 12 million Jews that Stalin killed. You never hear a word out of it. Never a peep out of a Jewish person's mouth. So that's one of the issues I wanted to let you younger folks know, that this stuff really works. It will work for you. This reading, writing, arithmetic, all this junk, it's not going to help you at all. And you need to get that through your little heads, that you can have good growth in your life. You know, reading, writing, arithmetic. No, it needs to be race baiting, and culture, and the right type of communist politicking. So, all right, we'll move on to somebody who is, although he hasn't got the United States or Western Europe, he hasn't fixed us just yet, but he's working on it. And he's the only guy that can do it, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you a little example. I'll give you a personal example with the Bidens. Joe Biden, Jill Biden, his wife, she was a little, and Jill was beautiful back in the day, so you need to reimagine and look at her like that. And Biden, I would suggest you reimagine whatever good-looking, handsome man that you see, and just reimagine Biden as well. It'll help you in your journey to follow and adhere to their great ways and institutions that they are creating. It'll be of most value to you, young man, young woman. Anyway, he met Jill, and Jill was married, and Joe was had just become a federal senator, and he stole Jill from her husband, who was a bar owner, and then after he stole the husband, of course they had to, Jill being married, had to go to court against her ex-husband, so they went on to court, and Joe brilliantly reimagined with his brother Frank that they'd just take this guy's house, and if he complained about it, he said Joe really just stole his wife, stole his house, stole his bar. He was a bar owner. And he had, on his journey where he started reimagining, he had his brother go down and convince the husband to reimagine that everything that Joe had done by stealing his wife, his house, and his business, that it was okay. And Jill Biden's husband at the time didn't get it, so he got a 6-year federal prison sentence and years more in probation or something like that. Anyway, I hope that guy's in learning to reimagine as well, because his life has become a wreck because he's not following suit. The Bidens have had 3 German Shepherds living with them in the White House. They're just rotating through German Shepherds, and TMZ has reported that the dogs have severely bitten and injured 24 people over the past 3 years. They're on the 3rd dog now, maybe the 4th German Shepherd now. And we're German Shepherd lovers around here. Everybody knows we love Rocky, our German Shepherd, and we reimagine with him. Nobody messes with us around here. We just reimagine. He goes dead on them, and everything's good for us. So, and we've been successful in that area as well. But one of the Secret Service agents was viciously attacked by Joe Biden's dog, Joe and Jill Biden's dog. And it ripped his suit up, so he asked for a new suit, and Joe Biden wouldn't be worth millions of dollars if he went out here spending money on suits for everybody. So Joe Biden said, "No, man, I ain't gonna get you a suit. You figure that out on your own." Secret Service guy even had to pay for the medical care through his insurance that he had received from the vicious dog attack, which now really didn't happen because I'm reimagining that never happened. So I'm playing my small part in it. So just remember, young guys, move forward, do the best you can in your reimagining process. You need to be in school. That's mandatory, but it has to be a public school. No homeschooling, no private schooling, by no means any Christian schooling. And however, when you go in there, you are not to do reading, writing, arithmetic, or anything like that. Only history, but you have to reimagine it. If they're giving you pesky things like well, their factual history, who in the world wants to buy into that? So just go there. And do the best you can. There may be one more video here. I haven't imagined it yet, but I'm assuming, and when I assume, I do not make an ass out of you or me, because I've reimagined that out. So my assumptions are never incorrect, but maybe there'll be a video, I don't know. And remember, democracy and freedom and peace and great economy and lower illegal immigration, prosperity, and safety are only possible with Joe Biden and Jill Biden. Now we're going to get to how Joe Biden has achieved nirvana. No matter what is going on around Joe Biden, everything that's going on inside of Joe Biden, therefore in the vicinity of Joe Biden, at all times are what he imagines it to be. See, you guys are looking at Joe Biden and you're seeing a feeble old man. I'm looking at Joe Biden and I'm seeing the truth. The truth. You look at Joe Biden, most of you, and you see when he says things like, when he starts something out, I'm hearing love, freedom, Constitution, respect for the law. And you can obtain through reimagination, you will hear the same things. He's always in his own little mind. There's nothing feeble about him at all. As a matter of fact, he's probably got the highest IQ in the world right now. It's certainly higher than Elon Musk. I don't know what would make any of you think that a man that's putting rockets on the moon and on Mars could be as smart as Joe Biden, who has figured out how to seal up inside his brain and imagine everything just as he wants it or wants you to believe. That's a way more intelligent man, the second man. Rocket man, no. Doesn't take much to do things like that at all. I don't know why any of you would get in an uproar over people like that. So, remember, with Biden, you don't have to make America great again. You don't have to worry about peace or stability. Great economy is just automatically always there for you. With Trump, you have to worry about these things. Trump doesn't reimagine anything, and that's just really sad. So, as for us and this family, irrespective if you see us running around with Trump 2024 t-shirts, if you see that, that's not the truth. We're Biden all the way in this house. So this was either my last or my next to last video on reimagining. So step on board, young people. Step up to the plate. Do your part. And quit learning and working and all that crazy mess. And get into the reimagined world with the rest of us. And then we'll all be okay. So it's you, the young generation, and it's up to you to get us into nirvana. You can do it. Just stop working and trying to learn and all that crazy mess and get your head straight. So we hope this helps you out, and we'll see if there's a next one on this. Everybody have a wonderful reimagined week.